Hey, how's it going, everybody? Welcome back to Cities, Skylines, Airports. I hope you're having a good one because I am excited to be back and I'm excited to show you some of what I've done between this episode and the last one. I say some because I don't remember all of it, if I'm completely honest. You see, I've had an interesting day. I sat down about 2 hours ago to play Cities Skylines, and really that's roughly where it all went wrong. I booted up the game, I loaded my save, and it was kind of downhill from there. It was at that moment I realized that I had up, okay? It was about that moment, because I had intended to build for about 15 minutes, do some vocal warm-ups, and kind of just get to grips with the game and, warm up the old hands for the clickety-clack of the keyboard and all that good stuff, which genuinely is, that is a list of things that I do. I do vocal warm-ups, and I do, get myself in the mood a little bit for recording. I don't know where the accent was coming from when I was saying that, but, you gotta be in the right mood for sitting down and playing Cities Skylines and faking your voice like I do. Sorry, that was behind the scenes. You don't need to hear the rest of that sentence. The point is, I meant to spend 15 minutes building, okay? And I did. I did spend 15 minutes building this. This is my trash. There's a lot of trash like it, but this one is mine. And this is going to act as the template for detailing a lot of areas in this industrial zone and future industrial zones as well. Because honestly, I think it looks cool. It's just an overgrown yard with a bunch of garbage and some containers in it that's probably been abandoned for a few years and no one really knows what's in the containers. And that's okay. That's basically what I want to do with a bunch of the areas in this industrial area. It's not going to look amazing if you're on a train sort of going through or over one of these yards, but that's okay. I'm fine with that. It's going to look detailed, and that's the point. It's not supposed to look pretty, at least not in the traditional sense. It's supposed to look detailed. I should probably also get the mod that gets rid of the purple grass from the industry at some point, but I'm not super worried about it right now. I think it's fine. Anyway, like I said, 2 hours ago, I booted up Cities Skylines with the intent of building for 15 minutes. Well, when I got done with this, I thought to myself, I should probably extend the train lines a little bit. We have this one that goes through Fawn and into Main Street, and that's kind of cool. And we have this one that comes into Elk Hills, and that's kind of cool. And we have, potential for one in Dale Park, and we have the Old Town one down here. And then I built this. Okay, that's long story short, I built this. I built a new district. I built a sunken bit of train track. I put some bridges over it. I used some highway bridge suspension pillars to make the bridges look kind of cool. I just got a bit carried away. I've got to be honest with you. I got a bit carried away because I just did. Now, I will say it's not exactly the most inspired district. And I know I keep throwing the word inspired around and I know it's a bit cringe, but it isn't, let's be honest. It's just a bit of a grid with some detailing in it and some trees and a sunken train track that I probably could have made into a video, but I just got carried away. So I want to walk you through this. I want to walk you through what I've done with this area. I want to show you the public transport connections, the services, what I'm thinking for detailing, what I'm thinking for further down the river. And then I want to look at trains again because I do want to connect the trains to the airport. So let's just rewind a little bit and let's just focus on the Old Town Station for a second, because what I've done is I've gone ahead and turned the line that used to only go between Old Town to Fawn District and Main Street into one that now goes from Main Street to Fawn to Old Town and all the way up to here. Now, this place doesn't have a district name at the minute, but this station is very, very busy. It doesn't say that it's busy, but it is, take my word for it, because what this station does is it essentially acts as a transfer point for people that want to go from anywhere else in the city to the airport. You can see there's a pretty good number of people getting off of that train, and they're coming around, they're going to go to the tram stops, and they're going to head out to the airport. And likewise, people going from the airport to the city are fairly regularly hopping off a tram, getting on a train, and going through the Old Town Station and sort of doing their thing. So it's doing what I wanted it to do, which is that it's connecting the city to the airport. It's just that this isn't the station that I had intended to use as the airport station. So once we get the airport station in here, I suspect this one is going to be a lot less busy. But that's okay. I'm not really super stressed about that. Speaking of the airport station, I should probably figure out where that's going to go, because we are going to be hoping for the best in terms of fitting things in here. Because the way I'm looking at it is I want two. I'm going to be honest. I want two stations out here. I want one that's by these hotels. I think I'd mentioned this in the last episode. I want one that's like here, essentially. And I want one that's up by the terminal itself. Now, I do have some options. I could, for example, get rid of a lot of these parking lots and put a station in there. I guess I could do the same up here as well. If I really wanted to, I could do sort of that kind of thing. And that might be for the best, but then we have the multi-story parking lot, so maybe, well, maybe we could do that. Maybe the station for the hotels sort of goes here, and then the track sort of comes in up that way. That might actually do it. That might be a bit much. I'm not 100% certain that that's what I want to do, but that might do it. We do also have this guy, the elevated island platform train station, which is the same one that we have in the industrial area, but I feel like the track's way too far out from everything. And I couldn't really put it there. I could sort of put it there. Can't really put it there. And then it's way too big for this space as well. We do have other options, of course. We have the same one that we've used in Phone District, the same one that we used in the district near here as well. But I don't know. I want something that looks kind of cool. The ground platform stations are neat. This one's kind of neat as well, given that it's at an angle. That's not really something we do much of, but I feel like we kind of need something elevated. I feel like we need something relatively compact. So I feel like it kind of has to be, well, it could be this guy as well. This guy would, no, it doesn't fit. Okay. So it is essentially going to have to be this one, is what I'm getting at. Oh boy. So with a little bit of move it magic, we can go ahead and just remove all those parking lots. And I guess we'll do this. And that connects this station to that same little intersection there, which is fine. It makes this a little bit more of a corridor, which I'm actually okay with, because I had been trying to do that with the multi-story parking lots anyway. So that's fine, I guess. We can get more parking sort of around this thing if we really wanted to. But I figure what we're gonna want to do is probably use the same type of station. Well, we could use this guy. What if we did, Okay, I'm gonna try something here. I'm gonna put you there for a second, and then I want to go ahead and do something like, oh boy, game please, something like this. Flip this guy around, or put it on that road, I guess, and then flip it to this side. If I did this, that is now going to let me have the tracks sort of go over the parking lots and sort of curve, sort of in a nice enough way up to there. I think that's kind of what we're going to have to do. And it's going to give us a new road in here, which I guess is going to be more parking. I don't know if this is going to be the greatest connection for this whole thing, but I think it'll have to do the job. And then from this side, we go like that. So none of the zoning on either of those two roads is weird. I guess we should probably put some grass on this to stop people parking on it. And I think that's about as good as it's going to be. Although I do, oh boy, I do feel like we could do this and it's more central. It is more central like that. Okay. So that's fine. Let's just take these guys out and reconnect everything, because I do think that puts the train station, nicely central on that road. Although, of course, this doesn't want to work nicely now. Okay. Let's just do this, I guess, and let's just see if I can do this at all. I'm kind of wanting it to be central, which I think that now is. So is that good? Sort of. What if I bring this road down? Is that good? It is. All right. So that's basically what we're looking for. We're looking for this whole thing to be, you know, central between the two roads. It now is. Probably going to have to do some elevation changes around that, but that's fine. In terms of the track itself, I think really we just keep it simple and see if I can get away with a big old curve, which I have my doubts that I'm going to get away with a big old curve, but I'm going to try and get away with a big old curve, which I think is what that is. Ooh. So that's not going to work, unfortunately. That's a bit of a shame. But I guess what we could do is... Well, I guess we want it to be elevated, obviously. So I guess we sort of go here. And it's going to be a bit of a sharp turn at the end there. I'm not really sure I like that. But I think it's just going to have to be, well, how it is, really. So that curves out of there. And then this guy sort of curves in like that. That's not great, is it? It's not great. I don't know that I like that. I might have to get rid of these lounges to make that look a bit less terrible. Okay, so that's not too bad. I don't completely hate that. It could be better, but it's gonna have to do. In terms of the airline lounges, I mean, we are gonna be probably not getting those back. I mean, we could probably get one by the looks of it, and it's not gonna have it's really not gonna have a great view, if I'm completely honest. Not a great place for an airline lounge, really, is it? You're kind of looking out at just trains, but I mean, I suppose it is gonna keep the airport sort of higher leveled, so I think I'm gonna have to allow it. I'm also gonna just see if I can kind of shuffle these together like that, because I think that looks better, having them sort of attached there at that little window right there. I think that's kind of good. We'll go ahead and just level both of them, and we'll just sort of move this one down ever so slightly so the orange roof sticks through. And I guess that's just how we're gonna do this. We're just gonna have an airline lounge, or two lounges there, and then maybe another one just in here. Again, not a great place for a lounge. It's definitely a little miserable looking, I guess is one word to describe it. It's the luxury that you would maybe expect from an airline lounge is certainly not there. I think that one can go, actually. That does look kind of terrible. But anyway, we got our train lines. That's what matters. That's what counts. In terms of actually connecting the trains to the airport, that's what I'm not sure about. Because looking at the way I've got this set up, I think what would make sense is bringing this guy down and just connecting it to that station there. But my idea was that we weren't going to do that. My idea was that we were going to have sort of a dedicated line for the airport. But I mean, I guess we can still have like an airport express that goes from the Old Town station to the airport, but I don't know if we need to do that. I guess we just connect it. I guess we just sort of bite the bullet and say, you know what, it's one big line that goes from, you know, Main Street over here down through pretty much everything to the airport. So you can get on this one line and kind of end up wherever you need to be. Which I guess is fair enough. That's a thing. So that's kind of what we're doing. In terms of actually supporting this track, though, that's going to be interesting. Definitely going to have to get rid of some trees here and redo some of the detailing for this corner, but that's fine. We'll take those guys out, and that's okay. We can probably go ahead and just grab these guys and get them nicely leveled to this height here, so it's nice and even. And I think what I'd like to do is actually have this go underground for a bit and come back up about here. So we have a tunnel that kind of goes into the hill. I think that would be kind of cool. So let's get this guy going something like this. I know that looks ridiculous right now, but that's kind of the point. And let's have this guy just push straight through all of this. So you're going to go across the street to there. You're going to go to about there. And you're going to go, you know, cross the street again. We're going to have to get rid of these trees. And basically, I just want it to punch a straight line the entire way through that district. And that's fine. Yeah, we're going to get some weird zoning, but honestly, that's fine. Now we go to ground level. we're probably going to want to have this kind of immediately turn into a tunnel. So it turns into a tunnel there. This guy is going to turn into a tunnel here, and we're going to connect them together. Now, they don't line up perfectly. That is a bit of a pickle, actually. I don't know how I feel about that. What if this line instead sort of curved, followed the road, and turned into a tunnel like here? So instead of it going underneath the entire mountain, it just sort of went under this little bit. That might be better. That might be better. I don't know if it will be better, but it might be better. So it turns out we didn't need a tunnel. It turns out we're only shaving a tiny bit of land off the top of this hill, so I'm just going to let the tracks push straight through there. They curve around, follow the road a bit, and then just cut through this district and do their thing. So that now gives us a pretty solid connection from the city center into the airport. And I think that's kind of a big deal. I really do think that's kind of a big deal. I think that's kind of cool. So I'm expecting that this train track, this train line is about to get really busy. And I'd be surprised if it didn't. I would be really, really surprised if this train line didn't suddenly end up quite busy. And I'll be slightly disappointed too, to be honest with you. I'll be slightly disappointed if it doesn't end up really busy. Now, I am going to want to make sure that we have got some good connections between this station and the airport. So let's go ahead and get this guy on the ground. Let's make sure it is on the ground. And basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to lay out a section of path there and there. And I'm just going to use move it to copy these and sort of just drop them where I need them. So I need one there, for example, so I can just, you know, sort of shuffle it around a little bit. And there you go. You've got a connection from that side to the terminal. And then at this end, it doesn't necessarily look like we need to do much with it. But I guess what we do at this end is we just go in and do a path that goes like this. And that's fine. So that's going to be another connection, even though we have one right next to it, which admittedly is probably going to be more popular. But anyway, the point still stands. It exists, and that's what I'm going for. In fact, if I do that I imagine will be quite a popular little connection as well, assuming people can use it, which I'm not sure they can, if I'm completely honest. I'm not 100% sure it's usable. So if I shuffle that over a little bit, oh, it is. Oh, there we go. So yeah, that should become a really busy area. So wrong button. Let's go ahead and clear those guys out. This little path here is getting used as well. We have room for some trees in here. We've got room for some bushes in there. We get room for some detailing here. So let's make this place look better, right? Let's make this place look kind of decent. So I'm going to start, as I always do, with some parking lots, naturally, because that's obviously the most important part. So we'll go for a parking lot there. We'll do a billboard. We'll do a parking lot, and we'll do a parking lot. And I guess we could sort of go down to the... Well, we can't go down to the smaller parking lot, so that's fine. And that's all right. That gives us a few parking lots for this little space, and it gives me less space that I need to detail. So let's figure this out. What kind of fence did I use for all of this? I used the wooden one. So I used the forestry fence, which is probably tied for my #1 favorite fence in City Skylines. And that is the worst top 10 list, isn't it? Top 10 fences in City Skylines. Honestly, Watch Mojo have probably done it. Let's be honest, it probably exists. Top 10 fences in City Skylines. If it doesn't, then you're welcome, Watch Mojo. There's a video for you. Hello and welcome to WatchMojo.com. Today we're counting down the top 10 fences in Colossal Order's City Skylines. Leave your favorite fence in the comments below. Oh no. Oh man. They would as well. I'll be honest. Look, I will be completely honest. I am a sucker for a good top 10 list. All right. I make fun, but I do occasionally enjoy. It's one of those things, right? Like you're sitting down to eat some dinner. You've got nothing you can really think of to watch. So it's like, you know what I'm going to watch? I'm going to watch someone count down the top 10, like, whatever. I don't know what they're counting down, but I'm going to watch it. And that's basically like, that's basically the market that I think like Watch Mojo have cornered, is that market of people that really don't have much that they want to watch right now. So they'll just watch this crap. And fair enough, honestly. I respect the hustle. It is what it is. Oh man. I don't know why it's not that funny. I don't know why I'm still laughing at my my fences thing. Anyway, yeah, no, this is like tied for my top fence in City Skylines. The other one would be the ore industry fence. They just look really good. It's just that simple. They look pretty good. So there you go. Just in case you're ever curious. I also keep pressing the wrong button. I keep pressing V instead of B for the bulldozer, because V does the underground one. But there we go. A little bit of a fence going around that area immediately just makes it look a bit better. And then just throwing some trees in here will help to tie the space together even better. So let's go ahead and get a nice tree right about there. Let's get a nice tree right about there. Just a little bit close to the train tracks, but that's okay. And we'll throw some slightly bigger trees in here as well, just to, really bring the space together. Like something like that, I think, is all right. I don't like that those two are kind of doubled up. I think that's fine. And then down here, we could maybe do this one. Maybe over here, we sort of do this one. Maybe do another couple of them. Maybe not three, maybe just two of them is all right. And under here, sort of a similar thing. We'll do one here, and we'll do one just about there. And I guess back there. With maybe another one of these guys just about there. Yeah, I think that's okay. I don't think that looks too bad. I do want to get some color in here, of course. But let's see. What about this guy sort of hanging out over the parking lot and hanging out just over the path as well, if it'll rotate the way I want it to go, which is about there. That's fine. Now all we need are some bushes. And while we're doing this, I made a promise recently. I made a promise that I was going to tell an embarrassing story in a City Skylines video, because let's be honest, these are the only videos that people watch on the channel. So while I'm detailing this airport, it's story time, okay? It's story time. So recently, I recently got into a relationship, okay? Now the details of that are irrelevant. I mean, if you want to go to Twitter, go follow me on Twitter. There you go. That's what this is as well. That's my payoff for sharing an embarrassing story. Follow me on Twitter at ConflictNerd. There you go. Right. Recently got into a relationship, and it was recently Valentine's Day. So Valentine's Day is here, and we're thinking, what do we want to do? Watch a movie, kind of hang out, have some drinks, and that was pretty much that was what was settled on, was watch a movie, hang out, have some drinks, and generally make idiots of ourselves, which in my case, oh boy, but I'm getting ahead of myself. So Valentine's Day is here. We've gone and got some drinks. We got some vodka, some wine, some vermouth, some rum, some what else? Tequila, and probably something else. The point I should say is that this isn't all to be drank today, that being Valentine's Day. This was ingredients, and still is, I'm looking at them right now, ingredients for cocktails, specifically a Long Island iced tea, which is a fantastic cocktail that I highly recommend if you're looking for cocktails. Although I feel like everyone that drinks cocktails knows about the Long Island iced tea, and I feel like it's a little like, I feel like people hear that and they're like, oh, you don't really drink cocktails, you just drink the one that tastes like lemonade. Yes, I do, okay? Yes, I do, and I enjoy it, okay? Anyway, that's not the embarrassing part of the story. That is a hill I will die on, is that the Long Island iced tea is fantastic. The embarrassing part of the story is we start, making some Long Island iced teas, and we're thinking, well, we couldn't get Curacao, we couldn't get triple sec, but we got vermouth, and we'll see if it replaces either of those things in the cocktail. And spoiler, it did, but tasted awful. But if you drink enough of them, they taste kind of great. So I drank enough of them. I drank one, and I thought, I've had better, but it'll do. And I drank two, and I thought, I've never had better. This is great. Best day of my life. And I drank a third. And you kind of get to a point with drinking cocktails, especially, where you kind of have this moment of, I probably shouldn't do this. You kind of have that moment, especially with things that are, as the Long Island iced tea is, it's very, ooh, I haven't put palm trees anywhere in this city, but I'm going to do this. The Long Island iced tea is one of those drinks that you don't really taste the alcohol all that much if it's made properly. So when you're sitting down to drink a third one, you're kind of like, man, I'm probably really going to regret this, but you don't stop because that would be the responsible thing to do. So I drank a third one, and that was about the time that I realized that I'd made a terrible mistake. Of course, I didn't say anything, because I'm an idiot, but I'd realized pretty quickly that I'd made a terrible mistake. So I finished my drink. I think I had a can of Guinness as well. And I think I had something else. I think I had like a shot of vodka, potentially, with like half a can of Red Bull. Anyway, I drank a lot, and I'm not a big drinker. I should clarify. I'm really not a big drinker. I am what would, you know, typically be referred to as a bit of a lightweight. Okay. So I've drank a lot more than I usually drink, and I'm thinking, oh, this is great. You know, relationships a thing. You know, it's Valentine's Day. We're enjoying each other's company. We were in my office at the time, so it's like the office is warm and cozy, and like the cat's outside. The weather's a bit crap, but I like the sound of like the wind and rain hitting the the windows, because I'm a weirdo like that. And it's just a good day, right? So I didn't want to ruin it by saying something stupid like, I need to throw up violently. That's the lesser known lyrics of the song saying something stupid like, I love you. The second verse, which is the lesser known part, is saying something stupid like, I need to throw up violently. So anyway, I didn't say that I needed to throw up violently. Instead, what I did was, we went to bed, and it was like, oh, I'll put on a movie, we'll relax a bit, we'll chill. And not long later, I threw up violently over the side of the bed. This was our first Valentine's Day, I should clarify. First Valentine's Day, and here I am at like 2 in the morning throwing up violently over the side of the bed. And you might think to yourself, oh God, at least it didn't get any worse. Well, let me tell you, it did, because it happened again. It happened, So, it happened again, and instead of like a relaxing Valentine's Day where we're like talking and hanging out, and you know, it's Valentine's Day, you figure out, you know, whatever you want to figure out, you imply whatever you want to imply, I will leave that up to you. Just don't make it weird. Instead of any of the typical things that you do on Valentine's Day, here I am, cowering curled up in a ball, hanging over the side of the bed, thinking, dear God, don't throw up again. And I did, over the other side of the bed. So it was a good day. It's a really good day. Really good first impression. Really good first Valentine's Day. And technically, just to top it all off, I'm gonna just make it a little more embarrassing. Technically, we've also now considered that as the, like, well, it is. I don't know why I'm saying we consider it. It is also the first, like, official day of the relationship. So it's our anniversary. So next year, next February 14th, is gonna be the anniversary of me cowering in a bowl at the side of the bed, throwing up violently because I drank too much. You're welcome for that story. You're welcome. I realize I've stopped playing City Skylines and I'm just ranting. I apologize. That was, yeah, that's, I promised I'd tell that story, so I've told that story. I'm gonna regret that. I'm gonna regret that. Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but one day someone's gonna offer me a drink and then be like, oh, wait a minute. Ain't gonna throw up, are you? It was awful, man. It was. I have never in my life thrown up because I drank too much. And I realize this is not necessarily a pleasant topic of conversation. So I might try and, I'll try and remember to put like a trigger warning or something that like we're talking about me being sick, because I realize that some people don't like that as a topic of conversation. So I do apologize. So I'll try and wrap it up really quickly. My point being, I've never been sick from drinking too much. The most I've had is I've woke up in the morning feeling groggy, not with like a sore head, just genuinely a bit groggy. Or I've like woke up and just felt really dehydrated, downed a bottle of water and been fine. So of all the days that I could have, you know, drank too much and been sick, it would be this one. Anyway, I think I've made my point. I think that's about the story told. So if I've done my job properly, there will have been a trigger warning on the screen, and there shouldn't be any more because we've stopped talking about the thing that we were talking about. So yeah, that was my embarrassing Valentine's Day is what that was, and that's a story that I promised I would tell, and now I've told it. I would say I feel better for getting that off my chest, but I don't know that I do. Anyway, let's just wrap up the detailing with this on this particular train station here, which I think is going pretty well, to be honest. I think this looks kind of cool. Just all of this. If it would let me do what I want to do, though, that'd be great. So if I just do that for a second, can I move? I'm gonna have to do it again. So put you there. So this guy needs to move down to like here. This guy needs to move down to like there. And then I need to get rid of those two sections. Move this guy over to like there. And that looks all right. So it gives us a nice bit of fence around the front of the station. It nicely encloses the plants. Makes the station look a little bit fancier. I like that a lot, actually. I think that looks pretty good. This area over here kind of needs the same treatment. We've got a good few people kind of waiting for trains. Do we have many waiting down here? We have a couple. Okay. That's not bad. That is not bad. What way are they going? So they're going back towards the city. There's not very many wanting to go the other way, which is fair enough. Okay. There's a good few wanting to come this way. In fact, what is this one? So this is train line 2. Can I look at all my lines? So line 2 is the city airport line, I guess. And we'll put the airport express train on that. And then what is line 1? I guess line 1 is Old Town Industry is what we'll go for that. And it can, you know, stay the same. So there we go. So this train isn't, I guess, going to be getting used on that line anymore. I'm hoping we actually have a look at the airport trains. I don't remember. Oh, is that one? Oh, I do remember this one. Oh, it is kind of cool looking, isn't it? It is really cool looking. I wonder if I change the color of that line, does it change the color of the train? Oh, it does. Oh. Okay, we got some yellow, we got some blue. What about like a light kind of blue for that train? Does that look all right? Or like a darker kind of blue? I don't know that it does. I think that's pretty good, actually. We'll go. Oh no, I want to change that back. I want it blue. I think that's pretty good. I think that'll do it. So that's gonna be our airport train, and that should now run pretty much, yeah, the entire length of the city and then some. So that's good. We got the airport train going. So let's go ahead and I guess start looking at filling up a bit more of this space over here, because that is something I really want to get done. I want to get, you know, like the river nicely bordered with things. I do also want to, you know, detail more of this, but I want to grow the city a little bit. So let's try and do that. You know, I kind of like the idea of turning some of this space into an IT cluster. I think that would be kind of cool eventually, but then I realized we still have a lot of low density housing and commercial over here as well. So I would imagine a lot of this will get replaced with IT as well. And I don't know if I want to go into specializations just yet, at least, you know, outside of Belmont District anyway. So I guess what we're doing is we're going to try and fill up this bit specifically. I would like to fill up all of it, but this bit's the main one I want to focus on because I want to figure out how I'm going to deal with this cliff because I don't want to get rid of it. I really don't. I want to keep it. Now, I will quite happily get rid of all of these stones and props and all those rocks down here because I don't really care for those. I'm not really too worried about them. So those can go away, but the cliff has to stay. I feel like it would be cheating for me to go in and just be like, whatever, we're going to get rid of that entire thing. So let's figure this out, I guess. Also, that's a bit of a weird bump in the, oh, it isn't. That's just part of the station, I guess. And then it just slopes down. Oh, man. That train track is really low. I might have to raise that up a little bit. So like this guy kind of goes to there. And then I think all of these are going to have to be raised up as well so that I can get some roads under there. Yeah, I think that is going to be necessary. Although I wonder if, yeah, I think we are going to keep that raised up for now. We'll just leave it like that until we figure out exactly where these roads are going to be. Because I think what we can do is we could probably go ahead and bring a section of avenue into about, I want to say here is probably a good spot. And then we can go ahead, and I've got collisions off. I need those back on. We can go ahead and go like 10 units there. We can go sort of 10 units there. And then I want to have a road that's parallel to this bridge, because I think that's going to be the best way to do this. So we go parallel to the bridge, and we'll turn off guidelines for a second. We'll take you out again. We'll run this straight up to here, you straight over to there. And that now gives us a way to get down to this lower area, which I think is going to be for the best. And then this guy, I mean, it can sort of continue to come over a little bit. I think the best thing to do would be just moving it down a little bit, like probably this, to get some zoning along the back of the station. And then I guess we also do something like this so that we get some zoning kind of along the back of those guys. So I don't know that I necessarily want to do this. I don't think I want to go for just sort of a straight kind of angle there. So I guess 144 would do it. I think that's fine. Yes, it's gonna be weird zoning, but that's probably okay. And I'm realizing that what I'm doing is I'm just surrounding the cliff. I'm not actually building on it, which I'm not really sure that's what I was going for. I've got to be honest. I don't think that was really the brief that I was thinking of when I was like, oh yeah, I want to build on this. I want to include it in the build. I'm kind of just avoiding it, but we'll see what I end up doing. Let's, for the time being, do that right there, which gives us a decent little bit of space to work with. We can also go ahead and just grab all of these nodes and get this to be a nice slope down here. So something like that. We can grab these guys as well and get that to be a pretty good slope. We can do the same thing on this side, and we'll do a slope there as well. And I guess we're sort of doing the same thing here to turn that into a slope, and probably, yeah, this bit as well, actually, looking at it, should probably be curved, right? I think it should be curved so that it's a little bit more of a gentle kind of, well, slope. And I think that's pretty good. So now we can go in, we just grab all of these guys and redo that entire section, and it should look a little bit better. It looks a little bit better. I think that's okay. These bits over here, I mean, I feel like I probably just want to do the same thing. I feel like I probably just want to make it look better as well. So we'll do all of this. We'll go ahead and do this and this as well. And then what we can do, take out those bits, and we just curve around to these guys. So there and right there. And it just looks better. It really does. So that's fine. That's going to be sort of the, I guess, outer road for whatever this district's going to be. Although, do I want to do a curve here as well? Yeah, I kind of do. I'm thinking all of the corners in this place are going to be curved now. for some reason. You know, I almost wonder if I could turn this into like a touristy area, but then again, I look at the cliff and I think to myself, there's really not the room for it, is there? But I guess we'll find out. So if I was to go ahead and do this, that gives us a bit of zoning. If I was to go ahead and do, I guess, that in there, that would also be a bit of zoning. If I was to go ahead and do that right there, that is also a bit of zoning, which is better than having no zoning, I guess. So that gives us some zoning on the cliff. We could potentially do something like this to give us some zoning there as well. Not really so sure about this one, but we'll see. We can kind of do that. Maybe I just take out that bit and push this over to about there. And again, it's a bit of zoning, right? But it's better than having none at all. So that gives us some room to build some stuff on the top of the cliff. That gives us some room to build some down here. Maybe it's a touristy area that's in like the middle. So like we have hotels or something in the middle of like a park. Maybe that's what this is. There's some buildings in the middle of what's essentially just a park. I don't really know. I'm not really 100% sure on this one, but it's part of the challenge, so it's gonna happen one way or other. Let's see. Let's do a section of key across here. And I guess let's see if I can get it to curve around kind of nicely to there, which it sort of does, so that's good. Can I also, by any chance, level it so it's the same height as the roads at either end? That way we can go ahead and just raise the entire thing up a bit and have it a little bit further out of the water. It is definitely lower than the other one, but that's okay. And then at this end, what we can do is sort of just push it straight through to about there. And that puts that pillar of the bridge on the key as well. And then at this end, I suppose we do this. And I guess that's okay. So that kind of surrounds that bit decently well. Looking at it, it might not be a bad idea to try and curve some of this. So maybe that kind of goes away. Maybe this bit kind of goes, I don't know. Let's see if I can figure this out. I wonder if I could just curve this sort of freehand. It's not really, well, I guess that's okay. Yeah, that's fine. It could look better, but I think it's fine. Honestly, getting keys along this entire river is going to be a complete nightmare, but I'm willing to give it a shot anyway. So let's do this as well. And just while we're here, let's see if I can't maybe get this to look kind of decent. So you would go something a bit like that. And of course, it's two different types of key as well. I actually can't believe I've done this. Oh, man. Well, that's a bit rough, but we'll deal with it. It looks fine. It's fine. There's a very noticeable difference. When you zoom out, for some reason, it's kind of more noticeable, but it's fine. As for this whole space, I mean, we can zone around this entire area. That's kind of the annoying thing. It's just we're going to have a cliff in the middle of it, and I'm not really sure I like that, but I'm not really sure I get a choice in, you know, whether or not I can deal with that. Because I think I'd mentioned, I feel like I'd mentioned at one point, and I sort of regret that I mentioned it at one point. But I feel like I mentioned that not only do I want to make sure that I can, you know, go in and bulldoze things as and when I need to, I feel like I also said that I want to try and not just flatten terrain because it's a little bit inconvenient, right? So I want to figure out how I'm going to deal with this cliff. That's part of the challenge for today. So we'll get that going around there. We'll get the pipes coming out and connecting up, so the whole area actually does have water, which is obviously kind of important for any buildings that will be in here. So now that it has water, what the hell am I going to do with it? So I think making it a district for one is a must-have, because I think even though I'm not necessarily going to go with like an IT cluster, I feel like it should be hotels. And I don't know why I feel like it should be hotels, but I just get the vibe that having this be a district with a bunch of hotels in it is fair enough. And I guess it is kind of close to, the train station. It's just around the corner from it, so it gives good access to the hotels. And it's not far from the airport. It has a tram connection, and technically a train connection now as well. So I guess maybe that's why I'm wanting to do this. So let's see. The leisure specialization is not what I'm looking for. The tourism specialization is what I'm looking for. So tourism right there. And then in terms of other, policies, let's say big business benefactor, let's say encourage biking, let's say what else? Filter industrial waste, boost connections. It's outside connections though. I don't think we need to worry about that. That seems fine. So that's pretty good. And over here we have the hotels building, which is actually kind of surprising given that those are actually low density buildings. That's interesting. Okay. So yeah, we're just going to turn this into a tourist hotspot, I guess, and see how that plays out. So we'll do this. We'll go ahead and do sort of similar down here. We'll fill up all of this space. And honestly, building a whole bunch of skyscrapers on this ground would probably be slightly terrifying. There's no way they'd be stable, right? There's absolutely no way this ground would be stable enough to support skyscrapers. But here we are. Oh boy. Might regret this. I mean, they're not, the game doesn't simulate physics, but I might regret it anyway. We'll certainly see. Let's clear out that bit of zoning, and I guess we put some along the water as well. So we can do a bit of this. I guess we just surround the entire area in skyscrapers and just see what it's going to look like. I think that's kind of where I'm at with this. It might look stupid. I don't know if the buildings are actually going to get used or not. I think it is going to look kind of stupid, but I think having the connections to this area that we're going to have will help it to look a bit less stupid. Unless I just want to go in and, I could go in and just really intricately detail this entire space. That would be an option as well. So maybe less, skyscrapers down here, and maybe, less them here as well. And this turns into like a big park or something. That might be the way to do it. It's still probably kind of stupid to have them in this giant hill, but that might be the way to do it. And I guess I could use keys to reinforce the back of them so that it looks a bit less stupid. And I think that's probably what we're going to do as well. So we would essentially want to go and be like, a key, say there, something like that, and then lower it all down so it's looking like it's supporting this stuff. Although I also need the key to rotate, which I don't know if it's going to do. Oh boy. I might have made a terrible mistake here. I'm kind of committing to this idea, but it might be a terrible, terrible mistake. Okay, so throwing the keys in actually does help to make this look a little bit less terrible. Now, it's still a bit weird that there's a bunch of skyscrapers just sort of sat on a cliff, but the keys have definitely helped to make it look like it's reinforced, right? They've sort of secured the foundations. They've still got the cliff, but they're also making sure that the buildings aren't going to fall down the cliff. So that's good. That's kind of what we're looking for. And I guess we just turn a bunch of this space into a park or something. And I guess we could also probably go ahead and do some buildings up on the avenue here just to fill in that space as well. Now, there are a lot of people coming over that bridge right now, which I'm a little worried about. I'm also noticing that traffic should probably, well, people shouldn't be crossing and traffic can enter that junction. And same thing here, no crossing and traffic enters the junction. Just to let a little bit more of it through. We do have traffic lights here, which is a bit of a worry. What if I was to say that all of this traffic just gave way for now? What exactly would that do to traffic trying to get in? Oh, all of that traffic is just trying to get in there. Yeah, okay. Yeah, we might need to do something about that. Let's see. So let me go ahead and grab these nodes here. Let me lower these train tracks just a little bit. get a bit of a nice kind of slope going. So something like that. They're still pretty far off the ground, aren't they? That's still up there a little bit. What about if I did this? That's, yeah, that's better. That's definitely better. Still quite far off the ground, but definitely better. So people can still get in and out. They can still, you know, get a train into the area. We're probably going to want paths to connect the train tracks to the district itself. But I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and paint a park area right into the middle of this whole space. So basically everything within that sort of outer road is going to be a park. And hopefully I can use that as a way to fill up a lot of that space, because it definitely doesn't look great, does it? Just having this big empty kind of cliff area with skyscrapers on it. So getting some trees in there, getting some detail in there, getting all that good stuff in there, I think is going to help. So in terms of parks, I mean, it's very tempting to go with nature reserve, but I don't think I want people camping in there. So let's just go with a regular kind of city park. We'll go for the regular main gates, and we'll just sort of do what we can to make this look as not terrible as I possibly can. So bring that out to there. And I guess we're going to just try and hug the entire stretch of road here. I would curve this, and I could curve this, but I think if I do this right, it's not going to be crazy noticeable that this isn't actually curving around the road. I mean, the corner bit here absolutely is going to curve around the corner, but I don't think it's going to be crazy noticeable that, like, yeah, this bit isn't actually curving. I mean, it is a little bit if you look closely, but it's fine. Just don't look closely at it would be my advice. Okay, so the fences and the path going through here are certainly helping to tie the space together a little bit. But I do want people to come down here, so I'm wondering if I can get away with plazas or anything that's going to get people to actually go through this park area. So what is that? That's a restroom, right? Yeah. So some restrooms might be one thing. This plaza, I kind of want it over here. It looks kind of terrible though, unless I maybe raise some sections of path up a little bit, but I'm not 100% sure about this, because I just, yeah, it does that. It does that. I'm not a huge fan of the concrete in my plaza. So what if I sort of move it back a bit? It's still workable. Unless I sort of shuffle it around and connect it like to the road, which is where it would be connected to now, but it obviously doesn't look like it's connected to the road. It looks like it's just a part of the park. I think that's maybe what we're gonna have to do with it. So it's technically connected to the road, but we're gonna just imagine it's part of the park. So let me do a little bit of just messing around here. This guy needs to be at ground level and isn't. That's annoying. Okay, what about down here? No, that's not ground level either. Is that ground level? Yeah. All right, so that's what we're looking for. I want to grab this path, swing it around a little bit, and just put it there. We'll bulldoze that one, and we'll grab this guy again, swing it around, put it there, and then if I just move it over, what I can do is just make it look like these are two sections of path that connect to the plaza, even if they don't. So that looks fine. I can put a tree in there. I can detail around the back of this, and it should be all right. People can still get to the plaza, and that's going to let me just have like a functioning little park down here. And maybe at this end, we go ahead and do like a, you know, I think this is a cafe, right? So a little cafe right there. And I like that. I think that's fine. So let's just put some trees in here. Let's get it detailed, and let's see if it looks, or if it helps to make this area look a bit less terrible. Okay, so far so good on this lower part down here. I think this kind of does the job, brings the area together a little bit. I mean, it does look a bit overgrown, but that's kind of the idea. We also got some nature up on the cliffs a bit as well, which is something I want to do more of, but I'm going to sort of circle back to that, because my thinking is bulldoze these guys, let that rebuild so it fills up the entire space, and then basically sort of do a similar thing up here. So, you know, go to here and get a section of fence. I might actually use these wooden ones as well, just because I really like them. So we'll do something like this. We can sort of come out, I guess, like that and like that. Connect those guys together, so it, you know, nicely borders the road. And then I figure what we do is just try to, well, I don't know. I guess we just try to turn this into something nice looking as well, right? So we try to turn this into something that's nicely detailed, has some nice trees going on, has some nice nice plants, some wildlife and all that. I don't think this is going to be a park that people will necessarily walk in. So maybe this fence kind of goes like that, so it kind of cuts it off a little bit. But I think that's okay. And I think we could also probably bring this entire section in a little bit and do this end piece a bit better. So if I was to go and do, you know, this and this, we move that to kind of be there. I should, if I turn off node snapping, just be able to do something like that and something like that. And I don't think that's perfect, but it does the job. So that gives us a nice cap to the end of the road. It gives us this space down here to play with. And plain and simple, I think what I'll do is one of these guys, I'm going to do one here as well. And then to try and hide this corner completely, we're just going to go really dense on these big oak trees, just to try and hide the very noticeable cliff. And I think that does pretty well. And then in terms of the rest of the space, we'll go one oak tree there and one there. And I want to go a little bit lighter. I want to go with these guys. So right about there and there, we'll go for here. Maybe down here as well. And right about there. And I think the rest of it can be smaller trees, which are also kind of nice and light and bright when compared to the oak trees and the pines. And then just shrubs, plants, and of course the beautiful, what's it called again? That one. Okay, I would say this is starting to come together kind of nicely. I've gone ahead and put some parking lots in here. I've detailed some little open spaces. I've got a little fence back here and detailed this space as well. But one thing I'm noticing is that it does do what I was hoping to do eventually, which is it provides one hell of a contrast for the old town, doesn't it? You've got this proper old little space down here, and then just off in the distance is these giant skyscrapers. Which, I mean, I'm not 100% sure I love that. It's like I've said, you know, it might be an idea that was better in my head than it is in practice. But to be fair, having these guys on a cliff is making them look bigger than they are. It makes this look more dense than it actually is, which is fine. And I think putting the nature in here as well, and obviously there is still a lot of detailing to be done in this space, I think that's going to help make this look even better. I do want to put more parking lots in here. I do want to fill up more of the space than I have already. But I think for today, this is going to do us as it is. I think this space here could be some parking lots. I think maybe a multi-story parking lot in here might be a good idea. But for now, I think this is fine. So we're going to leave it there for today. I think we've got a decent little bit done. You know, we've obviously got Concord Heights, which is probably better looking than the new area. We've got the connections out to the airport, which currently doesn't have power, which is actually not good at all. And that's because we just generally don't have enough power. Now, is that a budget thing? That is not a budget thing. That is a power thing. So let's just very quickly and very cheekily go ahead and throw, I guess another geothermal place or something. I don't really know. We'll do geothermal down here for now, and that should give us enough power for everything. A lot of abandoned buildings. Going through a bit of a death wave right now by the looks of it, but I'm sure we'll manage. And the airport has power again, so that's good. So everything out here has power. There are train connections, bus connections, and tram connections to the airport. So all in all, honestly, I think that's pretty substantial. And this area here, from a distance, I mean, it could look better, but I think once we get some buildings kind of on the other side, you know, down here and across the road a little bit, I think you know, some good dense trees in there and some parking lots will really bring that together. And I know that it's a bit of a meme that parking lots are the solution to everything, but really, I like to think that they probably, in my cities anyway, probably are. So thanks for watching, everybody. It's been an absolute pleasure as always. And as always, I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.